There we go.
Okay, back to stimulation. You keep rubbing their tummies right in front of their little bottoms and up to their bottoms until they finish going potty, because they can't do it without. You can do this before and after feeding, or just before or just after. They will get used to it, and once they get used to it, after about a week or so, you pick them up, they'll start peeing out for you. You don't have to do anything. They'll just, okay, let's go. And they'll start pooing the same way. It's just they'll get into the habit, and that's when it's time to go, then well, let's go. Keep their bedding clean. If they have accidents between feedings, always clean out the bedding. A lot of people will only clean it once a day when they're that little. I do it every time I feed them. They get a clean bedding. It means lots of laundry, which is another thing you'll get used to. They should pee every time they eat. Having a bowel movement, not necessarily. They can have one once a day, once every other day. For the third day, you can get some hairball remedy and use your syringe and give them just a little bit at each feeding until they start going. If they start getting diarrhea, you can use the anti-diarrhea. So it's a juggle thing with the poo and the pee. Like I said, you're about to be obsessed with it. Those two things work real good. Both of those you can get at Petco. If they've not had a DM by the third or fourth day, get a hold of the shelter, because we might have to do some more drastic measures to get them to go potty. Kittens will let you know when they're going poo. They don't like it, but this is normal. So they're going to yell at you, so just let them yell. If they get diarrhea, you can use that. You can try putting extra water in the formula. Just a lot of times for the water, because they can get dehydrated really quick. If it continues after this, or it changes color, contact the shelter, because we might need to get them in to see the vet. There's also in that booklet what poo and the pee is supposed to look like, what to watch for, and before you start getting nervous or worried about them. Litter box. I put one in at 3 weeks whether they use it or not, because they need to get used to it. These little guys are pre-programmed. God did a wonderful job, and they pretty much figure out very quickly on their own. This is another area where Terry Lynn and I differ. She does not think clumping litter should be with the new kittens. And yes, there is a danger with the clumping litter. If they ingest it, they ingest too much of it, it clumps in their tummy. And then you have a mess, because then they get sick and they can die. Yes, I have been using clumping litter myself for 10 years. I've never had a problem. I'm not saying it won't be a problem sometime, but I've not had it. So that's entirely up to you on how you want to do it. Just make sure whatever kitty litter you use feels soft, does not have a lot of sharp points, because those little feet are not going to want to walk over something sharp. So just make sure it's comfortable for them to walk in and walk through. Yes, they will sleep in the kitty box. Yes, they will play in the kitty box. They love to fling with abandon with kitty litter everywhere. And they will taste it. That's normal for babies to taste things, because that's how they learn whether or not it tastes good. And usually they'll go bleh and spit it out and all, but sometimes, yeah, you might have a problem. I've also been told that they don't use the clumping litter here because of the dust, because of the cat's respiratory. So, like I said, the litter I use is, and it just went right out of my head, Tidy Scoop. Very low dust. I don't mind that. I don't have a dust problem with that stuff. But again, it's up to y'all. You can use a cake pan. You can use an aluminum cake pan, or a small litter box, just something that they can get in and out of. It doesn't have to be extremely expensive. Like I said, get you some of those little aluminum cake pans, 3 for $1. That'll work. That's all they need. If they poo outside the box, pick it up with some Kleenex, put it in the box, so they'll start going, oh, okay, that's supposed to be in here, and they'll start getting hints better. Now, I did find something this past weekend. They've got a new kitty litter out that has an attractant in it for the new kittens to learn how to Use the litter box. Never used it before. I'm going to try it.
Is it Dr. Elsie's?
I don't know. I've got a box of it out in the car. I don't know what it is. They've also got, it looks kind of like herbs that's Nutracted also for cats and kittens, new kittens. I didn't get that yet. I'm going to try that too to see. But I figure for starting out, that couldn't hurt anything. Now, I will say that new kitty litter is very expensive, so I would just use it like at first to build to get the idea and then start putting the regular kitty litter in. Once they get the idea and you catch them, go and praise them. You know, good boy, good girl, way to go. You know, everything's good. When you have kittens, use multiple boxes when they get to run to the house because like toddlers, they will have accidents. And if they're playing at one end of the house and suddenly have to go potty and the potty box at the other end of the house, they're not going to make it. So you have 2 or 3 kitty boxes around the house. Just, you know, people coming over are just going to have to accept that you have new kittens and they need their kitty boxes. So they have multiples around the house. Rule of thumb for cats, even the litter boxes, 1 litter box per cat plus 1. That's just the rule of thumb. Keep the litter box as far from their food and water and bedding as possible. When you got them in the cage, it's kind of hard to keep them completely apart, so make sure like the bedding and the fooder is like on one side and the litter box is on the other. You have in that package a page or 2 of helpful hints, just notes that I have made. There is also RX, again notes that I have made. And then there's 2 pages of just notes that I have made that I haven't gotten into my little booklet yet. So, and all that, you know, just peruse through that, get helpful hints. If you want to use it, fine. If you don't, fine. That's what it's there for. Okay. Then you have babies. All these babies have just an innate need to suckle. They want to suckle on something. A lot of times, even if they're suckling on mom, they're not necessarily getting milk. It's like they're sucking their thumb. So if mom's not there, they will find something else to suckle on, which means each other. It could be an ear, it could be a shoulder, it could be a tail, it could be a butt is usually it, the little boys. The little boys are the right size and shape. So the little boys get picked on. And especially the run to the litter or whatever. You're going to have to watch out for this because it can kill them. We've had to put one down that got picked on too much and I just didn't catch it in time. Also the ones that are doing the sucking are ingesting the poo and the pee because they're stimulating the kitten. So they get sick over that too. Best thing to do, there's some bitter apple right here down at the end. There's also some bitter yuck, mixed reviews. The best thing that you may have to do is put them in a completely new box. Just completely separate them. Because that way they can't get to each other. And then once they get weaned, you can put them back together again. They're fine. You can let them play. Just watch them. Don't let them suck on each other. But make sure that little guy, when you're not there, is not getting picked on. So, but yeah, that sounds weird and strange, but it happens. Going back to cold babies. To warm them up. You don't want to warm them up too fast because that can kill them. You want to warm them up slowly. If you just picked them up and you have no place to put them up against your skin. If they're old enough to start scratching, put a shirt between you and their skin, or between them and your skin. There you go. But that's the quickest way to help warm them up and the safest way. You can make rice bags, which is you get you a tube sock, fill it full of rice, tie a knot, put it in the microwave, warm it up. There you go. You got a heating pad. Or you can do that with water, bottled water. Make sure the lid's off a little bit when you go to heat it up. But then you can put the screw it back on, wrap it up in a towel, put it next to the kitten. That's a gentle heat that you can use too. These also do very good for gentle heat. Oh, and going back to this, if you do put these in there, make sure you've got like 2 layers of towels between them and the kitten, because these get hot. So they're going to want to get off of that. So just put 2 layers of towels between these. The heating pad on low. But make sure you have towels between the kitten and the heating pad. And watch that heating pad, make sure it doesn't turn itself off. And they can get too hot. So heating pads are iffy. This is what I use. This is specifically for pet warming. And you can get them in different sizes. Okay, massage. You can massage them to help warm them up. You know, and rub them, you know, like you do you. You can do the kittens the same way to help warm them up. Fleas. Fleas this time of year are fun. I've been dealing with a flea infestation at my house for almost a year now because we had a barnyard type thing behind our house. And when they moved, guess where the fleas came? To see me. And I've been dealing with that all this time. They're a headache. It's not the end of the world, but it is a headache. The Blue Dawn will help kill the fleas. First time, baby shampoo does the same thing. When you're drying them afterwards, you're going to see fleas on the towels. You'll think, oh good, they're dead. Not necessarily. They could just be stunned. What I've started doing now is when I'm through with that towel and there's fleas all over it, I put it in the bathtub with water and just let it soak for about 10 minutes. Make sure all those fleas are dead, or else you're going to have fleas in that room when you get through. Because it's happened to me. Then wring them out, put them in, wash them with hot water and bleach. Use the flea combs afterwards. That helps get rid of it. Get you a pair of tweezers, flea comb, and a cup of water that has 2 drops of the dish shampoo, dish soap in it. That breaks the surface tension. You can grab the flea, drop it in there, and it'll drop through and drown. So I have one where I have my kittens all the time, and it works great because I can just take the flea off and drop it in there and it'll die. Also, if you have flea issues, you don't want to use chemicals, you can make flea traps very cheaply, or you can go out and buy some. Home Depot has some wonderful ones that are the sticky back ones. They work very well. They've got a little light, and they come to the light. Fleas come to the light, they get on that sticky paper, and they can't get off. To make one, get you a pie plate, a white pie plate, or a white serving dish. Put it on the floor, fill it up with a little bit of water, about an inch or 2 of water, 2 drops of soap, put a desk lamp right over it. Be surprised how quickly you can get rid of fleas that way. Because they'll jump to the light, fall in the water, and drown. That does work too. Both those are good ways to get rid of them if you need flea traps. I have one in every room in my house right now. Because of those silly fleas. When you do wash them, make sure that you get all the soap off of them. Because that will irritate their skin if you don't get all the soap. If they do get some anemia,